Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Thriving Metabolism podcast, where we reject the dogma that eating less and exercising more is the key to weight loss, or that weight struggles come from greed or laziness. In fact, humble brag, my team and I have helped thousands of women over 40 to lose weight and feel better than ever in every way that you can think of, from energy to sex drive to hair, skin, nails, digestion, mindset, periods, moods, menopausal symptoms, joint pain, and all without restrictive dieting. And these types of health improvements are just part and parcel of what we do in the program, the Nourish Method. And don't just take my word for it. On the show today, we have got the wonderful Kay Wheeler, who has recently graduated from my program, the Nourish Method, having lost 20 pounds. And she feels so incredible that she wants to shout it from the rooftops. And coming on a podcast is the modern day equivalent of that. So I was so excited to have her on the show, partly because it's always great to dissect the formula for success and dig into how we achieve fabulous results. But also, Kay is a bariatric nurse, meaning she worked in the world of weight loss surgery. And that means that she has some really interesting insights. So if you're interested in discovering a way of releasing stubborn weight once and for all, and you want to understand exactly how we do that, then make sure you listen until the end. All right. Well, welcome, Kay, to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to find out all about your journey into the Nourish program and your experiences and also your insights as a bariatric nurse. First, perhaps you could take us back to 6 months or so ago and tell us where you were at and why it was you were thinking about joining the Nourish Method.
I came across an advert for you quite randomly. I wasn't necessarily looking for anything, although I suppose I had been. And you know how that your computer kind of picks up on things you're thinking or talking about. There were things in that advert which made me think, oh, this looks different. Like so many of your clients and so many women and men, but women particularly, past the age of 35, 40, things that worked for you when you were younger don't work anymore, or your body's got wise to them. I did Weight Watchers several times. The first time, really successful, took a long time, but got me there. And then the second or third time, less and less successful. Despite my medical understanding that pills off the internet probably weren't a good idea, you start to get a bit desperate. I wasn't happy in my body as it was, and I was also concerned as I get older of other potential health problems coming from that. I felt as if I was getting nowhere, because I would sign up to various apps, Yoga Fit or Just Fit or various other things, and they'd promise a lot, and I would stick to them and do the exercise and the suggested eating program pretty much to the T, and not make much progress at all, if any. And I was a bit sick of all that. So saw your advert. I went into a bit more thoroughly, booked my
Weight loss breakthrough call. Yeah,
thank you. And I had that with a lovely lady called Lucy, and I explained everything to her, and then she told me, yes, I was right for the program. It took me several months after that to pluck up the courage to talk to my husband about the expense, because it's not a small amount. But as I have said to you before, in comparison to the cost of all the other diet programs I've done before, and particularly to more invasive things like weight loss surgery or bariatric surgery, it's proportionately so much better.
So it sounds like you were in a place where you had tried loads of things, you weren't seeing results. Why do you think now that you know what you know, why do you think those things didn't work for you?
I think they didn't work because it was all about calorie counting. It was all about low fat. It was all about low carbs. And what your program does is explain why that becomes counterproductive.
Mm,
How um, when you put yourself on reduced calories for a period of time, your body then adapts to that, which is why after X amount of weeks or months, your weight loss slows significantly. And
yeah.
then you come off the diet, try to maintain it, and generally do so for a while. And then your body that has then adapted to that lower amount of calories. So when you have more, that's why you put weight on and more so. So
Mm,
in order to perpetuate that, you'd have to end up with no calories at all, which of
yeah.
course is not feasible. And I think that was a huge, a sort of light bulb moment for me, that this was something saying something completely different, but it wasn't wildly different in as much as it wasn't like, well, that's stupid. It was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this is
Different, but
where
not to the extreme.
we all have been going wrong
Yeah.
for years.
Mm,
And how deeply frustrating and annoying that is as well, but much more that it's a really good eureka moment, a really good wake up call to how, with the testing, with the changed eating pattern, with the work on your digestive symptoms and all the other bits and bobs, you can really change how your body responds to food. And it took maybe a couple of weeks before I started to lose weight, but then I was losing a pound a week,
mm.
which, I mean, I'm 65 now, and losing a pound a week doesn't sound like very much to someone in their 20s. But my God, if you haven't managed to lose weight doing anything for years, that's stunning.
Mm. Yeah, and it's a healthy rate of weight loss, even if you
Yes,
are in your 20s. We don't really want to be losing more weight than that because your body can only burn so much fat
yes.
in one go. And if you're losing much more than that, then you're probably losing some muscle, some water, and other things as well. So yeah, it's a really healthy rate of weight loss.
And sorry, and the other thing that's so fabulous about this program is that you don't need to eat between meals. You might fancy something, but you don't need it. Any cravings pretty much have gone. Apart from those stupid ones like, oh, she's got an ice cream, I'd like one of those. No, I don't need that. That sort of thing. But the changes in the actual substance of what I'm having at meals leaves me satisfied, and I know it's doing me good. I can feel it's doing me good.
mm,
And combined with the supplements, yeah, my life has been very positively transformed and will continue to do so.
mm. Yeah, it's a long-term journey,
Yeah,
isn't it? But it sounds like, the transformation that you've had so far has been transformative.
yes,
It's been
absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
been yeah,
Yeah,
significant.
I've
And
still
we'll
got a way to go, but that's a nice thing. It's not like the 6 months of my program has finished and like, well, that's it then. What
mm,
do I do now? I've got the tools now to take me through, well, my life really, the rest of my life, and
yeah.
to lose more weight, which I definitely want to do, although I have lost quite a lot, and then further down the line to then maintain it.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So let's just go back a little bit and talk about the testing when you join the program. One of the first things that you do when you join the Nourish Method is complete your testing. Now, as someone who works in the medical field or did work in the medical field, you're probably more familiar with the sorts of tests that
Yeah.
you might be able to get if you were to go to your doctors. So how does the test that you've done as part of the Nourish Method, how's that differed to what you've had done previously?
Actually, the timing of starting the Nourish Method programme came at the same time that my GP had highlighted a previous blood test a few months before hadn't been picked up properly as having a raised cholesterol. And I was on a medication review phone call, and he said, actually, we need to look at this. So he ordered a load of blood tests at the same time, pretty much as I was having the testing with you guys. I got the results, I think probably about 3 weeks after doing the test with you. And it showed a huge amount of things that maybe not massively serious, but nonetheless were probably holding me back. So it showed that my digestion wasn't optimal, that the thyroid was okay, but not working optimally either. I was borderline pre-diabetic. So I think the number was 40, and if you were 41 and above, then you were pre-diabetic. So I was right on the cusp of that. That my cholesterol was raised, yes. About my hormones needed a bit of sorting, as the case with most women around the menopause. At the same time, I then got the results, well, actually several weeks later from the GP, because it takes such a long time to get an appointment. And what was real standout, starkly different, was that my GP said that all my results were normal, apart from the cholesterol. And I knew that, and I know as somebody in the medical field, that from a doctor point of view, they look at results and they are given a range of what is normal. And as long as you're not under or over that normal, you are classed as being not having a problem with it. Whereas what your testing does is look at, well, yes, okay, it's a normal range, but it's on the very low side or the very high side. And therefore, that needs addressing. And I thought the contrast between him saying the only thing we need to address is your cholesterol, and you guys saying, yeah, but there's this, and this that we need to look at, was, mind-blowing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of information to take in as well, isn't it? There's pages and pages of stuff to go through, so it can be a little bit overwhelming. How did you find that?
Well, what was really good was I was able to look at all the results and put my medical hat on or head on and go through them, but also subsequent to the testing, you have an hour's one-to-one with one of your wonderful nutritionists, and I had Christelle, and she went through it all in detail, taking into account the fact that I understand a lot, but also telling me things about the micro detail of those results, which I hadn't even ever considered. And one of the things that I'd never considered, oddly, and I don't think medical people generally do, is that I'd had my gallbladder out years and years ago. It must have been 1998, something like that, long time ago. And it never occurred to me that would then leave me without sufficient or any bile to emulsify the fats in my diet. It just never occurred to me. But it completely straight away with Christelle, it's like, well, okay, there's a problem. So we need to look at your digestive enzymes. We need to look at the way your body processes fats. So it's that looking at things in really fine detail, which your testing and your program provides, which is one of the foundations really of the whole program. Because if you can't address all those things, then it's going to block your ability to burn fat.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's what the testing is doing really is it's looking at what areas, what imbalances could there be that might be blocking your fat burning in one way or another, because there's lots of different kind of processes that come into play when your body has to burn fat. So we're looking at it from every angle, and at the same time we get a real overview of health generally, so that we can optimize all these kind of finer detail areas and help you to not only lose weight but feel good at the same time.
Absolutely.
And did you notice changes in terms of how you were feeling early on in the program?
I think, well, one of the main things for me was very disordered sleep. And I hadn't slept well for a long time. And of course, I know, excuse me, and it also becomes clear again with your program how important sleep is for so many things, not just burning fat, but for all sorts of other things like insulin resistance and
hormone balance,
restorative stuff and balances. Absolutely. So that was something that the program really helped me with, and I would say by and large now my sleep is so much better, which is good for you in so many ways, not the least of which is your mood and your ability to do stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, and I suppose also my digestive symptoms, particularly my bowel symptoms, improved. It took a little bit of a while of adjustment. Now I have a regular habit, which is again a fairly extraordinary thing, because after doing years and years of night duty, my bowel habit was extremely, well, I didn't have a habit. It was all moved all over the place, you know. So
yeah, and I'm sure probably the night duty is one of the things that contributed to disordered sleep as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't done nights since 2007, but it remained a problem for me. All that circadian rhythm stuff had.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned the sleep, because I think, sleep is so important, but often people find it frustrating to hear that, because they think, well, I'm trying to sleep. And what often don't realize is that, by working on a lot of these imbalances in your body, even things like gut health, because of how it impacts histamine and how that impacts your brain chemicals, working on all these different things has an impact on just how your body readies itself for bed and gets into deep restorative sleep. And so it's not just about, trying to get to bed earlier and that sort of thing, although that helps.
I think so one of the things I started doing on Christelle's advice was to use Epsom salts in my bath, which I had never even thought of as being a thing. So doing that, and I didn't normally bathe in the evening, bathe in the evening. So that was a sort of conscious change, I suppose. And then also taking magnesium supplements. That has definitely helped, and I continue to take those. Not doing things which had helped me in the past, like taking my iPad to bed, because I'm not going to be able to go to sleep, so I might as well fiddle on that for a while until rather than lying in bed going. But what I started doing, and I don't feel the need for it generally now, is listening to a sort of, I think it's called Restful Sleep. It's one of the free apps for helping you to go to sleep and / meditate. And the ones I find on it that work best for me are men's voices, which are quite deep, talking quite slowly. 10 minutes of that, and that really just helps to get me into that really relaxed state, and then I go to sleep.
Yeah, great. So another big element of the program is the support that you have along the way. Typically, you would have one-to-one per month to initially go through your test results, and then review it and tweak it and look at, what's working for you, what's not working for you, and, how to basically adapt to what's going on. So how much of a role did the support play in the progress that you've made?
I think it's vital when you follow a program and you don't have that. in any form, it's very easy to fall off the wagon, for want of a better phrase, because you can very easily and unwittingly develop your own strategies within that program, which can be wide of the mark of what you need. And also there is that I mean, everyone says at the beginning of the program, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed by everything. And the advice is, let's take it step by step.
Mm-hmm.
There's no right pace, whatever. And I definitely felt overwhelmed. And because of my because I have PTSD, I felt almost like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? But Christelle and Lara, and also Lisa, who does the sort of check-ins with us on a regular basis, all reassured me, said this is the same for everybody. They encouraged me to come to the not to come, but to join the Zooms every Wednesday evening, which is a forum that is provided, and you can talk to Christelle or Lara, depending on who's hosting it, and also to other members, and that is really good because it takes away any of that potential thing of it's only me, or this is only happening to me, or oh, I'm sure I'm doing it wrong. Oh no, maybe I'm not. And sharing or buddying in some respects is such a powerful thing. And then also there's the one-to-ones once a month, there's the forum, but there's also the ability to tap into the app that you use, Practice Better, and get help or advice or input from one of you, one-to-one, but on a
private chat.
Yeah. So there is lots of support and lots of help, and I think anyone doing any sort of big change in their life needs that. But I think this is going to sound oddly sexist, but I think women are generally people who want to help everybody, but not necessarily help themselves.
Yeah.
So that's why I think what you offer and how you offer it, and also the various modules that one works through, explaining things, and your video at the beginning of all of those, going through things, and then it's all written down for you as well. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, there's a lot of different elements, isn't there? And they kind of all, well, I like to think they all complement each other so that
absolutely
you've always got what you need when you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the support is a big element. It's I think easy to think that if you've got those test results and you've got that information and the initial steps, then you'll just be able to run with it. But there's always things that come up, maybe one of the supplements that you thought was going to be a game changer for you, maybe it doesn't agree with you and we need to look at something else, or maybe something happens in your life where actually things change. So there's always, we never just give a plan and then that's it for the 6 months. It's always adapted multiple times. And I think that's one of the keys to success is being adaptable along the journey.
Yeah, and actually, I was, because of this gallbladder thing, I was put on digestive enzymes, and they were great, along with the other supplements. But then, out the blue, maybe 2-3 months in, I started to feel really nauseated. Thought it was some sort of bug, and then gradually eliminated various things and couldn't work out what it was, and had a chat with Christelle, and she said, you know what, it could be that your body doesn't need those anymore, and they're providing or provoking some sort of reaction in that way, and stop those. And 2 days later I felt as right as rain again. So again, that just being able to have that access to sort something out as well was great.
Because otherwise it's just trial and error, isn't it? You're just guessing, and unfortunately that's a very slow path to get into where you want to be.
Going back, sorry, to the testing and some of the supplements, and I know some of your clients have found out that they are intolerant to dairy, and they found out they're intolerant or to gluten, and didn't necessarily know that before. And so getting that sort of, again, fine detail and addressing it has made huge differences to daily life, with pain and not being able to go up the stairs, and constant bloating and very unpleasant symptoms. And the Nourish Method has really eradicated those with careful management, which is, again, perhaps something that the GP surgery wouldn't have picked up.
No, absolutely. So has there been any kind of surprising wins for you along the way? Any changes that you just weren't expecting?
I have the confidence now that I will continue to lose the weight I want to lose. And that is quite a powerful feeling, because there's been so much disappointment in the past. And although I still am a good stone and a half over the weight that I feel would be healthy for me, I do feel much more body confident than I did. And that's not been a change in my clothes, because I'm still wearing the same sort of things. I just feel happier in myself. I mean, that sounds, well, no, it doesn't sound silly, because as a bariatric nurse, I came across so many women, particularly, and men, but mainly women, who had a profound lack of self-worth because of their weight. Yeah, I think I just feel like I've found the right thing. And one of the things I'd really like to do, and one of the reasons I was more than delighted to do this with you, is because I really want to shout it from the rooftops. I think your program is a game changer. More people need to know about it. So whenever you've put something on Facebook, I've shared it.
Oh, thanks
that
so
needs
much.
to be, well, people are missing out.
Yeah, definitely. I think so too. So it's really lovely to hear that, and it's absolutely wonderful to hear about your experience and the progress that you've made. Is there anything else that you want to share with our audience before we wrap up, or any advice that you might give now that you are, in the know?
Do it. Just do it. It's not cheap. But as I said before, if you put that in perspective of all the amount of money you've already spent on, I mean, I never did the things like Lighter Life, but that's not cheap. And it's also wonderful, apparently, during it, because your weight falls off, but it goes straight back on and more afterwards, for all the reasons we've talked about. If you can find the money to do this, it's 1,000%, if that's the thing, it's 1,000% worth it. Because you are empowered by the testing and the support and the change in how you eat, and what you eat, perhaps more importantly, to change your life. And while what you weigh or how you feel about how you look shouldn't theoretically affect as much as it does, it does do that because of the way that we are, and because of how society sees you if you're overweight, and how, I mean, luckily it hasn't ever happened to me, but I know lots of people who have been shamed and humiliated in the street by others. But feeling good again about yourself, not just outwardly but inwardly, and symptoms, and getting better sleep, and knowing that you've got the tools to take you through this and maintain it without it being something you have to constantly tweak, is yeah, amazing.
Yeah. I love the way that you said that you're empowered by the testing and the changes that you make, because I completely agree. And I think that having that clarity on what exactly you need to do and focus on, it just gives you such confidence in
Yeah.
what you're doing. It makes it so much easier to commit to what you're doing and the changes you're making and just fully embody that change.
There's one other thing, I think, towards the end of the program, one of the modules talks a lot about other things that can hold you back from losing fat or losing weight, and what is referred to as obesogens. And I found that really, really interesting. So I've now stopped using air freshener, and I've stopped using sort of some of the toxic smelling sprays, etc., for cleaning. And I've noticed that my nose is much more sensitive now to those sort of cleaning sprays. Again, somebody said to me, "Oh, why are you changing your shampoo, and why are you changing your cleaners and when your sprays and stuff?" And it's like, well, it's because they can also affect my ability to lose weight and anybody else around me. And those are actually toxic chemicals and parabens and things I can't remember the names of, that can be toxic to our bodies.
And I think, you're right in that, like, your smell does change, much like your taste buds change as you start to clean up your diet, let's say. Your nose buds, if you like, they change too. And if you go around someone's and they've got all air fresheners going or wax melts or whatever it might be, you really notice it, and you spend a prolonged amount of time there, it starts to feel a little bit like it might give you a headache or something like that, because it's your body knows what's good for it once you become in tune with it. And those things unfortunately are everywhere, but they're disruptive to our hormones and therefore interfere with how we burn fat. Well, thank you so much again for sharing everything. It's been really fascinating hearing about your journey through the program. And thank you for shouting it from the rooftops and trying to spread the message far and wide.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm just so glad that advert popped up that day, and then that I acted on it. That's the other thing. That I acted on it. That is it. You if you're going to do something, you've got to do it. You can't, as you often say, you have to show up. You have to invest in it fully to get the results. And you can't at any point go, "Oh no, I'm not going to do that because that's too much," or "That's not going to work," or "Oh, I don't need that support." It's all part of it. It's all part of that whole thing that works.
Yeah, and all those elements are in the program for a reason, because because they need to be there. And the first iteration of the Nourish Method looked very, very different, and it's become what it is over the course of about 6 or 7 years, to really give the best support and the best results possible. Have you had any retests done to look at things like pre-diabetes and cholesterol at all?
I had a check of my cholesterol again with the GP in June, and that showed that it had come down from 7 point something to 6.
Okay.
So still a bit too high, but he has agreed to review it in 3 months rather than put me on medication, because of course that also brings its problems. So
yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that as well.
That's okay.
All right, well, I think that's pretty much everything, so we are gonna wrap up for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode and perhaps saw yourself and your experience in Kay. She is just like so many of the women that we work with, smart, disciplined, and determined. But she needed targeted, structured support to achieve the transformation that she desired. There is so much noise and confusion out there, and it's pretty much impossible to decode it all and figure it out on your own. But that's what my team are experts at. That's our zone of genius. And if you're interested in learning more about working with us, head to the show notes or the description and you'll see a link to an information page all about the Nourish Method, where you can either apply to work with us or schedule a free discovery call. I'm sure that you've spent most of your adult life putting your own needs last. It's time to put you first. Thank you again for joining me today and staying until the end. I will see you in the next one.